everybody, doing another Marvel Snap video. In this one, I want to talk about a quick topic about more decks. Why don't we have more spots on these? There's so many different ways to build them. I mean, I need more spots. And then as more cards come, okay, I've got a suggestion for what they could do as well. So let's jump into this. As you're probably aware, you know that you get a number of decks up top. Great. I love that they're up there. It helps you build whatever you're going to build. Those are all my decks. When you go through here, you start quickly realizing I don't play them all. A lot of times I don't touch them. But what would be nice is if I could archive or have other spots where, you know what, I want to pull this deck out from the depths of the sea and bring it back, because you know, as more cards get introduced to this game, you're going to want more and more decks. So to me, I'm like, let's just go through mine real quick and then I'll get to the suggestion. So I've got an early on one, which I thought was, I don't know, kind of fun early gameplay. I thought maybe at some point I'm going to do some potential content on it. This gray one, I normally, if I get a bunch of new cards, I just drop them in here and I just play and I don't care. I'm like, all right, I'm just trying to get boosters to get these up, to build up one level. I could probably drop both of those. Then I got a Dino Ramp deck that, you know, I don't know, maybe I'll play that. I got a Destroy Deadpool specific. I got a Discard APOC specific. My move deck, you probably only got one type of those, but this Destroy and Discard, you're going to see for sure more of those. Ongoing, I was just having some fun with that. Experimental ongoing type deck. Troll deck. This was something I made. I was just like, you know what? I just want to have some fun, not think about anything, and just throw a bunch of crap at somebody. Like, why not, right? Have some fun decks. An Arrow Lockdown deck. I used to love this one. I got a couple different Lockjaws. Again, Lockjaw Discard. It's another discard type. My negative deck, but I also want to start making a couple versions of negative decks. Valkyrie, the same thing. That's why I want to talk about having the ability to archive these. Is, you know what? Maybe I want a couple different things. C3. How many C's are there? C2, C3, different versions of them. C4, C5, if you really want to get into it. I mean, are they real? You know, this is one of my favorite decks that I actually use a lot to climb. I'll showcase that. Another Destroy type deck. Not a great one, but it's a type I was playing with. It has Null in it. There's different versions of that. Hitmonkey Bounce. Well, there's also like a Hitmonkey Control. It still has Sarah in it, but this one's got some bounce aspects to it. So I sort of combined it because, again, I didn't want to make a specific deck for each one. I've got a Bounce House Collect Fund that I had. This was just my general bounce before Sarah. I got a Kang Death Wave that I made that I saw. I think I saw this from somebody else and I wanted to use it. And then I've got a random Shuri deck that I got threw in here as well. But, you know, what about multiple Shuri decks? What about multiple Hitmonkey decks? Multiple C3s, Valkyries, negatives? I've got nowhere to put them. So my suggestion is, similar to how, you know, we've got all these cards in game, why can't we have a section here, like in collection, I click collection, and there's a spot for me to actually look at my cards or look at my decks. And part of those decks are archived. I'm fine with being here and coming here. This is good. This is fine. I pick from my playable decks here. 20 there is fine. But in my collection, maybe up top here, there's a section that says cards and decks. And then within one, I come here, I click cards, and this is what I get. This is fine. But when I click decks, there are sections here that gives me my C3 decks, or whatever section. It's not going to be just C3, but it's all my decks. And I can have my C3s. I can have all my Valks. I can have all my Hitmonkeys. I can have every deck that I want to think of and make in this archive section. And if I want to pull it back into my play section, I can. I just click it, pull it into play, pull one out of play, and put it into my archive section. That will allow people to have as many decks as they need. I'm sure there's some storage limitation that they've got here, but I think that's an easy fix to allow us more decks. So that's it. I don't have anything more than that. I'm not going to sit here and elaborate forever on this, but I'd like to hear more on it. I know this is sort of a meme thing, and I think I don't know if it's Ben Brood or Glenn Jones. So I know there's some memes out there where they talk about in one of the games they worked for previously, it might have been Hearthstone, they didn't allow players to have a bunch of decks. Let's learn from our past and try to get ahead of this now. I'd love to see something. This is my video out there to pitch it. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments below. Also, if you want to hammer down that like button, very much appreciate it. We're trying to grow the channel to 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to share with your aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, really appreciate that. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.